Hi, my name is Rachel Frye. I am an English teacher at East Lincoln High School, as well as being the leadership and teacher cadet coordinators and the Cheval Winter Guard director. Additionally, this year I have the honor of serving as the Lincoln County Schools Teacher of the Year. And I am coming to you today with my Focus on the 15th video to talk about a subject near and dear to my heart, which is how to make high schoolers successful through their time in high school and prepare them well for college. And that's going to be how to build a successful high school resume. So the video is primarily geared toward ninth graders through 11th graders. This can also apply for upper middle school because they're about to be here. The first piece of advice that I have is to go ahead and create a professional personal email address as well as a resume. The email address is important because your Lincoln County Schools email, though it does look very professional right now and is perfectly acceptable to use, the moment that students cross the stage of graduation, their email is going to be deleted and space is going to be created for the next kindergarten class coming up. So you guys will need a space to keep email correspondence between yourself and colleges, between yourself and College Board, between yourself and scholarships or jobs that you may have. And please create something that sounds professional because even though you may love cats, saying I love cats 22 is probably not going to go over well on an actual resume. Beyond that, I do suggest keeping up with everything that you do in high school that you could use on a college application or for a scholarship application. And that's going to be through creating a resume. It doesn't have to look fancy, it can just exist. I recommend Google Docs as being your best bet and create different headings such as academics and clubs, roles that you have been involved in, sports, the time that you have been involved in said sports or competitive programs, paid jobs that you have held, and maybe contact information for the people who could vouch for you, as well as any community service that you have been part of or volunteer hours. Something like put it in a place where it can be easily accessible, update it frequently. Please don't wait the entire school year to update it because you might forget items. This can be really, really good for you when you go to sit down to apply in the fall of your senior year when you have everything that you need in one location. Now, meet my trifecta. This is what I introduce to students and parents when I meet freshmen, because I think that a successful high school career is determined or defined in three different ways. One, the academics, both what you're taking and how well you do in them, extracurriculars that you're involved in, and leadership roles within them. As far as academics, I absolutely recommend that you know yourself. The what you're taking, your strength of schedule matters. I know that that is typically a term that we used in athletics, but it matters. A lot of times colleges would rather see that you pushed yourself and you challenged yourself and got a B in an honors class versus an easy A in a regular class. You do not need to take every single AP course that's offered, but take the ones that speak to you. Again, know how well you do in the classroom, know what you're interested in, and then challenge yourself from there. If your goal is to be competitive, I do recommend taking honors classes versus regular courses. Again, just know yourself. Finally, it's also determined on how well you try. Your job is to do well. Please don't let an opportunity go by in a class to push or to boost that GPA. It's completely okay to struggle in a class. Not everybody is going to get everything. There's a reason that I teach English. But it's not okay to fail to turn things in. It's not okay to let zeros just stand in your grades. Try. How well you try, how well you push yourself, that's going to showcase your work ethic to your teachers. And so, in a few years, in a year, the next semester, when you go to ask for a letter of recommendation, I absolutely remember the students who tried really hard. I mean, maybe it didn't come easy to you, but you eventually figured it out because of the time that you put into figuring it out. Your work ethic is very important. Please don't plagiarize. Please don't plagiarize. This is huge right now in academia because many students have gotten used to the virtual or the online world. But again, how well you try, how well you push yourself, that's going to define your character. So does cheating. And this is not something that you want teachers to have in their minds when they think of you, especially if you go to ask them for a letter of recommendation. please don't cheat. Ask us for help. The second part of the trifecta is going to be extracurricular activities. Join something, anything. Join a sport or two, or an academic club or two. Join a competitive arts program. Do something outside of your academic work. This may be a service program. It may be that you have a job, but do something that sets you up for having other people to recognize what you're really, really passionate about, and stay. Dedication speaks so much for who you are, how you persevere. Will staying in a program be hard? Probably, for lots of reasons. Sometimes it can be challenging to stay committed to something for a long period of time, but how you persevere is going to speak volumes. And who knows, your struggle and success might end up being your college essay, or maybe you can be a guide for somebody else. But get involved in something and stay committed over time. If you wait until your senior year, it's almost too late to join all the things, because colleges would like to see that you got involved in something early in ninth or 10th grade and that you stayed there over time. You do not need to join everything, but do join something. Last part of the trifecta is leadership, because scholarships, college admissions officers, they want to know how you can stand out. Do you need to be a titled leader in the club to have leadership? No, absolutely not. Sure, that looks great, but you could be on a council. You could be part of a team that leads a service project or a community service project within your community. That shows drive, that shows initiative. And again, they're looking for how can you stand out and how can you serve your community. I love this image. Maybe it's because this is how I saw myself when I had a student here at East Lincoln. How can parents best help for college prep? Primarily life skills. This is going to be how you assist, how do you do laundry, how do you manage or budget or value money, how to create Easy Mac in the microwave and not create a fire. You need to add water. These are the things that parents can really help their students with. Am I telling you not to contact teachers? Absolutely not. I love hearing from parents. You should definitely do that. But while the student is in your home and you are able to guide them and help them, be like this mama lion sitting behind the cub. That cub looks very, very confident. The cub is ready to talk to his or her teachers, talk to his or her coaches, to self advocate. And this cub can do this because the parent is sitting behind them. This is the best time to practice, because the moment that they go off to college, this is not the time for parents to communicate with teachers. It's time for them to adult. So this time while they're in high school, this is an excellent time to practice those life skills and how to manage their own time. Again, you're there, you've got their backs, but this is very much time for preparing them to stand independently and strongly on their own. All right, you're there. Once you get to senior year, now what? What do we do? I'm going to talk specifically about letters of recommendation. As far as the actual application to college, this is going to be way more in our school counselors area of expertise. But I can speak as a classroom teacher who has written a few letters of recommendation between August and now. Who should you ask to write those letters of recommendation? Because if you use any kind of college application, especially Common App, you're going to be talking to probably two different people. I recommend teachers, advisors, coaches, directors, people who know you well, people who know you as somebody who either stood out really well in a classroom setting. Maybe they knew you through a sport. Maybe they knew you through leading a club. When should you ask for a letter of recommendation? Now. Ask right now. Ask early. Ask the first day of school. Ask before school starts, your senior year. You are communicating with people all of the time, and every time that you enter a classroom between ninth and 12th grade, you are meeting somebody who could potentially vouch for your character, how hard you work, how passionately you feel about an activity, and that you deserve to be wherever it is that you want to be. But do ask them very early. Even if you have no intention of turning in your actual application until the middle of October, ask them in August. That way they have time to budget their time to take care of you and your letter. How should you ask for a letter of recommendation? In writing. Definitely put it in writing, because if you just ask me in passing in the hall, I might forget it. So put it in writing via email, and go ahead and include that resume that you have been creating since you started high school. Go ahead, that way they have plenty of specific details to write about. Many teachers who do specifics inside of letters of recommendation might even ask to sit down with you and to ask you about your passions and your goals and all of those things. Be prepared for that as well, because the more specific information that they have to go in your letter, the better the letter will be. Have a backup for your backup, because there are some teachers who write lots and lots of letters or who get asked frequently, and for their own sake of sanity and time, they may put a cap on the number of people who ask. So if you don't get your first choice, make sure that you have created a network of people who can vouch for you. And finally, if somebody says no, please trust that that is in your best interest. And again, go to the next person who can vouch for you. You can do it. For those of you who are at the outset of high school, it can seem overwhelming, but time flies. You can do it. I believe in you. Please contact somebody at your high school if you have any further questions, or you can email me, and my email address is right there. Good luck as you continue this process.